Happy holidays, and thank you for joining me today on Smile by Holly. And I'm Holly. Hey, it's wonderful to have you here. Thank you for joining. So today we are doing our last video on Christmas Advent calendars. I did a 4-part series, and this is part 4. So today we're making just an adorable Christmas countdown calendar. Now, I had said this in my last video, most of my videos are just super quick and easy and fast. However, this one does take a little bit of time, but oh my goodness, the result for this end project is so cute. So for my Christmas countdown, I chose to put just a fun little thing that you could pull out and do each day to kind of give you that Christmas spirit feeling, you know. A couple of things, donate toys to your favorite charity, take supplies to an animal shelter, leave a happy note for someone, bring cookies to a neighbor. Just a fun little project that is quick that you could do, either alone or with your kids or grandkids to kind of give you that good Christmas feeling of doing something for others. So that's what my Christmas calendar is kind of focused around. Okay, so I'm going to tell you right off is I have formulated all of these measurements for this Christmas Advent calendar. And there's a lot of measurements, but just trust me on this, it does work. The thing is I saw this sheet of countdowns that Doodlebug put out. Let me just show you a different one. They always put out a sheet with their 12 by 12 kits that have these 2.5 cute little squares. And so I found one in their Christmas paper, and that's how I decided, I'm going to make these into pockets, and I needed just the perfect size for these 2.5-inch little squares. So that's where I have kind of based the formula for my Christmas countdown calendar. So let's start off and let's make the folders for our calendar. Now you are going to need 24 of these. Like I say, this project is simple, but it does take a little bit of time. Okay, so let's start off and grab yourself a piece of paper. For our folders, you will want to cut out 24 pieces of paper that are 3.5 by 3. Now bring in your scoreboard, and on 3 of the sides, you will want to score it at a 1/2 inch. Okay, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch. And I'll just show you how to make one of the folders, and then you can put the video on pause as you go ahead and make all 24 of yours. So let me just fold these so you can kind of see the score lines. I apologize, on video, trying to see score lines is difficult. You can kind of see it there. So what we're going to do is we are just going to take out these little corners here. I think once I cut it, you'll be able to see it. Just going to cut out those corners. Okay, and that is going to make for our little folder. Now to make it fold a little bit easier, I'm just going to slightly miter these corners. And that's just by cutting, a tiny triangle out of each of the corners. Okay, that didn't work very good. Let me try that again. There you go. So just slightly miter your corners. And that just takes out a little bit of the bulk to our little pocket folder, okay? Now, one thing, let me just tell you, as you're folding your pocket folders and putting them down on your calendar, make sure that this bottom flap right here, this bottom flap folds up and over, okay? You don't want it underneath with the sides going over the top, because then as you slide your little note down, it could get stuck on the inside. But by folding your sides in and then your bottom flap up helps to alleviate, you know, when you go to stick something in, it getting stuck on this. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive right here on the corners, and we'll fold up our little pocket flap. Once again, that bottom flap is folded up and over. Okay, can you see that? Up and over. Let me just show you. So as you slide your little note down, it goes all the way down. Okay. Now what I have done is, once again, I did take these 2.5 by 2.5 squares that Doodlebug puts out, and I just laid it on top of my square, and then I took a flower punch. You know, if you have a tiny circle punch, that would work also, but I didn't have a super tiny one, so I'm just using the edge of my flower punch. I'm going to stick it in there. We want to make a little tiny notch so it's easy to get, you know, our pull out little notes out. So there's a little notch. Then once you've done this once, you can go ahead and put it on top of the rest of your folders and, you know, just make a little pencil mark and then go ahead and cut out all of your folders. That will make it so that all of your notches are in the same place. Okay, so let me bring all of my little folders in. I have gotten all of mine already. So they're all ready. They've got the notch down. I've already glued the flap out on top. And so we are ready to go ahead and start on the base of our Advent calendar. Now, just before we go further, I just wanted to tell you these little pull-out cards. Let's see, these are 2 1/4 by 2.5, and they just slide down perfectly, and yet you can still see that little lip right there? It's just enough where you can grab it and pull out the fun little project that you're going to do for the day. Okay, so I'm going to put these over here, and let's start on our base. Okay, what you will need total for this is you'll need 3 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock. Okay, but we're just going to go one by one and just do it together. Okay, so the first piece of cardstock is 11.5, so 11.5 by 11.25. Okay, now let's bring in our scoreboard and we'll just together go through this just nice and slow. So on the 11.5 side, we are going to score at 1/4 of an inch, at 3, at 3 1/4, at 5 3/4, at 6, at 8 1/2, at 8 3/4, at 11 1/4, and done. Okay? Now we are going to turn this paper so it is on the 11 1/4 side. Okay, now the measurements are so close, so make sure that now you are on the side that is 11 1/4. And we are going to score it, okay, at 1/4 of an inch, at 2 3/4, at 3, at 5 1/2, at 5 3/4, at 8 1/4, at 8 1/2, and at 11. Okay, so our first paper is done. Now what this is this is giving you a guide. So you know that your little folder is going to just glue right down inside of each of these squares. It helps to kind of keep it all just nice and lined up. Okay, so let's set this piece aside and bring in your second paper. Now this is the second paper that we cut down to 11 by 11 1/4. So just slightly smaller than the first piece that we were working with, okay? So on the 11 1/4 side, we are going to score at 1/4 of an inch, at 2 3/4, at 3, at 5 1/2, at 5 3/4, 8 1/4, at 8 1/2, and at 11. Okay, now turn your paper. So now we are on the 11-inch side. And we are going to score it at 1, at 1 1/4, at 3 3/4, at 4, at 6 1/2, at 6 3/4, at 9 1/4, and at 9 1/2. Okay, that was a lot of scoring, but we are done. Okay, I'm going to move my scoreboard out of the way, and let me just kind of show you the idea for this. Now, if you look at your papers, one of these papers is going to have an inch score line right here. Do you see that inch score line? And this is where we're going to adhere both of our papers together. So let's go ahead and just put our papers together right now. I'm going to add adhesive right onto that 1/2 inch score line. And only one of the papers does have it. And this is the paper that is 11 1/4 by 11. So I'm going to get some hot glue. And this is going to be the top, okay? So now it doesn't matter, you know, top or bottom. You just want to make sure that it is the 11 1/4 side that you're adhering onto. Okay, so I'm just going to get some adhesive down on here. And then we are going to attach these two together right there on that 1 inch score line. And it's pretty easy because you can line up, you can see all the other score lines where they line up. Okay, so now we've got our advent calendar base. Isn't it just cute? Now you're probably saying, well, wait, there's more than 24 squares. And that is true, because now we are going to take a piece of paper, and I have already gone ahead and decorated mine, but you want to take a piece of paper that is 11 1/4 by 4 1/2. And we are just going to glue this right down on the top. And then that is going to leave us with our 24 squares. Okay, now you could make this out of pattern paper to give it a little bit of contrast. I went a little bit more plain and just decorated it with the white. But I'm going to go ahead and get some adhesive on here and lay that down. It's just so easy to line up just because there are all those score marks. It helps to keep things just nice and nice and even. So I'm just going to put this right on the top of my calendar. And then that leaves perfect 6 little boxes, 6 little rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that's going to leave us 6 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where we will go ahead and add our little folders. So cute, right? So I am actually going to put the video on fast forward as I put my little folders down. Now just know, as you're putting them down, you just want to put them right in the middle of the square. I mean, it really doesn't get any easier because this just has it all measured out for you. Okay, so there you have it. And just go ahead and slide all of your cute little thoughts or notes down inside your calendar. So what do you think? Didn't this turn out cute? Let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit so you can get the full look of this. So I've turned my calendar sideways so you can get the full look of this darling Christmas advent calendar. I mean, I think it turned out so cute. Now, a couple things that you can do is I want to be able to use this for years and years and years. So I am actually going to mount mine on some chipboard. Now, these are just papers from like a paper pad. It's a great way to use if you don't have chipboard. It'll just give your calendar a little bit more sturdiness to help it last throughout the years. So I am just going to add this onto the back of my calendar. Okay, oh yeah, that really makes a difference. It makes your calendar just sturdy. So we are just about done. I went ahead, just if you're wondering, I cut out the Christmas countdown words on my silhouette, and then I love everything Doodlebug, so I have purchased these Doodlebug SVGs, and I use them as print and cuts, and I put those down on my calendar. And of course I made a bow. Now I'm just going to add a little, I think it needs a little something in the middle of the bow. Oh yeah, that's really cute. There we go. And I wonder if it needs anything else. No, I think that's good. Just a little touch right there in the middle of the bow. Now I'm going to flip my calendar over, and we're just going to add a little bit of ribbon so that we can hang our calendar. So, I don't know, what is that? That is about 24 inches. And I'm going to get this hot glued down. I probably didn't need that much. I'll take a little bit off. And then that will make the perfect little hanger for our calendar. So what do you guys think? I hope that you enjoyed this project. You know, there was a lot of measurements, and measurements just are not my favorite thing, but oh my goodness, I really think this turned out adorable, adorable, adorable. And because it's so sturdy, this is something that you can save and use year after year after year. So anyway, hey, if you got some value out of this video, give me a big thumbs up. I would also love, love, love to have you subscribe to my channel. So it was wonderful having you here on all of my fun Advent calendar series. Stay tuned. My next series will be just quick and easy last minute gift ideas. So thank you again for joining me. I hope you're having a wonderful Christmas crafty day, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye, everybody.